Have you ever met someone who just captivates everyone in the room? People lean in when they talk. Their stories are engaging. Their presence is magnetic. Meanwhile, you might feel like your conversations fall flat, like you don't have much to contribute. Here's the truth. Interesting people aren't born that way. They've developed specific habits and skills that make them compelling to be around. Today, I'm going to share 5 actionable steps that will transform you into someone people genuinely want to spend time with. Step 1, accumulate experiences. Think about the most interesting people you know. What do they all have in common? They have stories, real stories from real experiences they've lived through. The problem is, most of us live incredibly routine lives. We wake up, go to work or school, come home, watch Netflix, and repeat week after week, month after month, year after year. There's nothing interesting about routine. So here's what you need to do. Actively seek out new experiences. And I'm not talking about expensive vacations or extreme sports, though those count too. I'm talking about taking a different route to work, trying a new cuisine you've never had before, attending a random workshop or class, saying yes to invitations you'd normally decline, visiting that museum you've walked past 100 times. The key is to break your routine consistently. Set a goal, 1 new experience per week. It can be small, it can be free, it just has to be different. When you accumulate diverse experiences, you accumulate stories. And stories are the currency of interesting conversations. Start this week. Find 1 new thing to try and actually do it. Step 2, develop genuine curiosity about everything and everyone. Here's a paradox. The most interesting people are often the most interested people. They ask questions, real questions, not just how are you or what do you do, but questions that dig deeper. What got you interested in that? What's the most challenging part of your work? If you could change 1 thing about your field, what would it be? When someone shares something, interesting people lean in. They follow up. They want to understand. But here's the critical part. This has to be genuine. People can tell when you're just waiting for your turn to talk versus when you're actually curious about their answer. So how do you develop genuine curiosity? Start by assuming everyone knows something you don't. Because they do. The barista at your coffee shop has insights about customer service you've never considered. Your Uber driver has stories from dozens of passengers. Your colleague has expertise in areas you know nothing about. Practice this exercise. In every conversation this week, ask at least 3 follow-up questions before talking about yourself. Really listen to the answers. You'll be amazed at what you learn. Curiosity makes you interesting because it makes others feel valued. And people remember how you made them feel. Step 3, cultivate a skill or passion. Interesting people have something they're genuinely good at or deeply passionate about. It could be playing an instrument, photography, cooking, coding, writing, woodworking, martial arts. Anything, really. The specific skill doesn't matter. What matters is that you've invested time and effort into something beyond just consuming content. Here's why this matters. When you develop a skill, you gain a unique perspective. You see the world through a different lens. You have insights that others don't. A photographer doesn't just see a sunset, they see the golden hour light, the composition, the interplay of shadows. A musician doesn't just hear a song, they hear the chord progressions, the production choices, the subtle dynamics. This depth makes you interesting. But here's something to be mindful of. While passion is attractive, obsession can be off-putting. If every conversation somehow circles back to your one interest, people might start tuning out. The goal is to have depth in at least one area while maintaining breadth across many areas. Be passionate, but also be aware of when to share and when to explore other topics. To get started, choose 1 skill you've always wanted to develop. Commit to practicing it 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes. In 6 months, you'll have something real to show for it. Step 4, read widely and diversely. If skills give you depth, reading gives you broadness. Interesting people can contribute meaningfully to conversations about philosophy, history, science, psychology, business, art, and everything in between. Not because they're experts in everything, but because they've been exposed to ideas from many domains. Books are the most efficient way to download other people's experiences and insights directly into your brain. A single book represents years or even decades of someone's learning, condensed into a few hours of your reading time. Here's my recommendation. Read at least 1 book per month, but vary the genres and topics. Don't just read self-help or fantasy or business books. Mix it up. One month, read a biography, the next, read about neuroscience, then read literary fiction, then something about economics, then philosophy. This cross-pollination of ideas is what creates unique perspectives. You'll start making connections others don't see. You'll bring insights from psychology into business conversations. You'll reference history when discussing current events. If you don't currently read, start small. 10 pages a day is 3,650 pages a year. That's about 12 books. That alone will put you ahead of most people. Pro tip: when you read something interesting, write it down or highlight it. Build a collection of insights you can reference later. Step 5, embrace vulnerability and authenticity. The people we find most interesting aren't perfect. They're real. They share their struggles, not just their successes. They admit when they don't know something. They tell stories where they're the fool, not just the hero. They have opinions, even controversial ones, and they're willing to discuss them thoughtfully. This is what separates truly interesting people from people who are just trying to seem interesting. Authenticity creates connection. When you're vulnerable, you give others permission to be vulnerable too. Conversations move from surface-level small talk to meaningful exchanges, but there's a balance here. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or being inappropriate. It means being genuine within the context of the relationship. With close friends, you can go deep. With new acquaintances, you might share smaller vulnerabilities, a recent challenge at work, a hobby you're struggling to improve at, an honest opinion about a book or movie. The key is to resist the urge to always present a polished version of yourself. Let people see the human behind the facade. Start practicing this today. The next time someone asks how you're doing, give a real answer. Not a complaint, but something genuine. Share one thing you're excited about or one challenge you're working through. Watch how the conversation deepens. So let's recap the 5 steps to becoming more interesting. 1, accumulate experiences, break your routine, and try new things consistently. 2, develop genuine curiosity. Ask real questions and actually listen to the answers. 3, cultivate a skill or passion. Go deep in at least one area. 4, read widely and diversely. Build breadth of knowledge across many domains. 5, embrace vulnerability and authenticity. Be real, not perfect. Here's the truth: you don't need all 5 steps perfected to become more interesting. Just implementing 1 or 2 of these will make a noticeable difference. The most important thing is to start today. Choose 1 step, take 1 action, and build from there. Being interesting isn't about being the loudest person in the room or having the craziest stories. It's about being genuinely engaged with life and with others. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments which step you're going to start with, and I'll see you in the next video.